What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the data points, what's moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is down 1.3%, $7 the low, 726 the high, and 29.5 million shares being traded. So another fairly low volume day, and you're not really seeing that much kind of institutional presence as far as today. So a lot of the volume coming is linked to algorithmic trading and shorts, and that's been a very common scenario for almost the last 2-3 weeks for NIO. Of course, next couple of trading days, they are going to be putting out, or I guess on the Saturday, their monthly numbers. So that might prompt a little bit more institutional attention. But right now, only one transaction on the secondary market, and it is a sell for 110,000. That was done shortly after the bell. So not all that great. And then these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool. So dark pool is often enough used by shorts and other large hedge funds. So once I go over shorts, it'll make a little bit more sense. Today, the market is just very crappy. So through algos, this is how NIO is largely getting suppressed. You did have that initial spike, and that was because of a new rating that did come out. So Goldman Sachs raises NIO price target by 62% on strong sales, new model pipeline. So they did change it from 7 to 430. Other way around. So from 430 to 7. My apologies on that. But this is my big issue with, I guess, technically the whole rating system for NIO, because with it being an ADR, I think TipRanks doesn't necessarily know what the hell is happening, or there might be some lag or something like that, but I don't see that new rating. No different than, I believe, Deutsche recently gave a rating, phenomenal rating, but it didn't really, and it never was posted. So Goldman Sachs, I still have it last being on June the 20th, 2025, and it was a 380 price target. So of course, there's a big difference that does happen. Normally it doesn't happen with big names such as Goldman Sachs, but sometimes what I've encountered is some analysts give unofficial ratings. So they just do an article, and some people might interpret that as a full-on rating versus ones that actually post it to TipRanks. So in my opinion, I think, especially given NIO and everything, maybe they don't want to give kind of full posting ratings. They're just doing articles, and then this is where you get a lot of individuals such as this 𝗖𝗎𝗪𝗧, which seems to be doing articles on anything whatsoever. They just take that and count it as such. So this is why I feel like a lot of these ratings, I don't see them on TipRanks whatsoever. So let me know your thoughts on that. Aside from this one rating, there really has not been any news since my last video yesterday. So no press releases, no SEC filings, no speculative topics. So it has been largely piggybacking off of its technicals. So luckily enough today, the $7 kind of support level has been holding. Looking at shorts at the time of doing this video, shorts are returning 764,000 shares, 10.3% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 142 million shares overall being shorted. As I mentioned in my pre-market video, where I go over a lot of stocks, including NIO, I even signaled that shorts are kind of on a trend, and most likely today you were going to see shorts return. But as what we can see, shorts play a game, a very interesting game. So they hit it hard first, and then they taper off. So at the peak, they were increasing around 2.6 million. So they hit it hard first and kind of kill the momentum, bring it down, and then they just walk off, and that's it. That's their game that they do play. Nonetheless, though, they are still kind of returning a lot over the last little bit, but still it does signal that big institutions aren't really doing too much. So recently it went from, looks like on October the 13th, around 12.3% to where it is now. So it'd be good if we go single digit, but I think NIO really does need to put out something concrete. Aside from all that, looking at the options, 3.2 million in calls, 769,000 in puts, and then 59% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. From a bull standpoint, you still see a lot of optimism. It's been like that this whole week. So optimistic bulls are feeling that between 7 and 750 is on the table. Bears are anticipating, oddly enough, for it to be sub 6. So a lot of big tech names are going to be putting out their earnings after hours today, and essentially Trump and China are going to be meeting. So maybe some bears are anticipating for NIO to break down. With tomorrow being Friday, just take note of this. So you do have 20,000 at that 7, 34,000 at that 750. So I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow shorts break trend and start to really hit NIO hard to ensure that this 20,000 expires worthless. Aside from that, with it at 704, trading between this R1 and the pivot. And this is something I've brought up for almost 2 solid weeks. $7. You really need to just say F off and just move on higher. So that's going to be a key point to really watch for. Aside from all of that though, on the actual chart itself, you still see it above that 10-day moving average. So that's kind of a good thing, signaling that there's a good amount of momentum. Right now, you see a lot more willing buyers today versus yesterday, and you still have that gap. So all NIO needs is that nice push to, let's say, that 720. Then you can see a nice push to roughly around that 745 to 750 range. All it needs is that push, and that's it. So NIO's had these spikes over the last couple of trading days where it goes up very fast and then it's just short-lived. A lot of that, like I said, is because of algos, but NIO really needs to put out something concrete. So there really hasn't been all that much in articles. Shorts, like I've said, they haven't really been doing too much. They've been rather timid in comparison to August and September, but I think just NIO really needs to put out something concrete. So maybe the next big catalyst is going to be their monthly numbers, which of course wouldn't really affect NIO up until Monday, because obviously they'll be putting out on the Saturday. So let me know your thoughts on NIO. Are you buying more? Are you selling? Because I think in general, with their monthly numbers coming down the pipeline, it will be that pinch that either pushes it higher or lower. Plus, at the same time, they should be announcing the date of their earnings. So they might do a 2-for-1 and put that out as well this upcoming weekend. And so that as well could be a very big catalyst for NIO. So let me know your thoughts on NIO. Give yourself a shout out if you've been buying. As I've signaled, if you are buying and you are very bullish and remain bullish on NIO, consider doing options. So for instance, if you feel that $8 is on the table by, let's say, December 19th, you can make a good 45.9% on a long call versus only 13.7 on common stock. So you can make some very good money with options, whether you're bullish or bearish. So take the time and research that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you are looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.